With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? Sticking on the topic of Marvel, because we were just talking about the what's more likely scenario there. You know, Marvel, we keep hearing tons of reports about now they're doing this show and this show and this show and this show. I mean, it's not Marvel itself saying it, but we hear a lot of these reports coming out. Well, some of the shows that were being worked on or were at least being looked at were shows like Strange Academy. We've talked about that a couple of times. Nova, we just recently talked about that because there was the rumor mill that went out there that Henry Cavill was going to do it, that I said I did not believe. And a show called Terror Inc. Well, Deadline this morning has officially reported that Marvel has paused development on Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. TV series. Ew. It writes the following. Marvel Television has paused development on 3 major projects, Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. But this is important here. Sources stressed to Deadline that these projects were never officially greenlit anyway, and may still come to fruition at some point in the future. The studio simply shifted its priorities at the moment. Now, look, I think one of the things that's really important to understand is that one of the big mistakes that Marvel made when launching its Disney Plus stuff, which they came out of the gate with big success with Mandalorian and WandaVision, Marvel particularly with WandaVision, but they did not follow the traditional television development process. They didn't have showrunners. They had executive committees making decisions about what things to do. They kind of wanted to approach making TV series the same way they did movies because they just thought, it's all the same thing. And then they realized, it's not the same thing. So they started to employ a more traditional showrunner, not just a traditional showrunner for each show, but they also started a traditional development process. Did you guys realize that 9 out of every TV shows that get developed never make it to air? Do you ever hear of the phrase pilot season? Yeah, that's a whole ton of shows that actually make it so far that they actually get some money to develop a pilot episode, but then most of those never make it to air either. Then the networks will pick out 1 or 2. Like our friend Aaron Cummings has been in, oh my God. I mean, if she could tell you guys the stories about some of the potentially high profile shows she's been in pilots for with some of the biggest names in the business that never got around to ever getting picked up. But Marvel decided, let's follow that traditional development path, which meant they're going to develop shows. Like the new guy, Brad Winderbaum, is that his name? The new kind of head of television and animation for Marvel?
I think I don't know.
He basically was saying that we are going to get some scripts written and get things developed for things that never happen. And so with that understanding and combine that with what Bob Iger said a little over a year ago, that, hey, Marvel's fallen into a thing where we've created too much stuff. We've got to pare back a little bit on the quantity, focus a little bit more on the quality. And you combine that with this saying, hey, we're going to develop things that never actually get a green light. And it sounds like these series never got a green light in the first place. So some of these sound cool, but frankly, Disney Plus's Marvel stuff has been so hit and miss that I'm not lamenting that we're not going to get it. Would I be interested in these shows? Of course I would be. But I'm not lamenting that it doesn't seem we're getting them. Rob, what do you think about this report? And what do you take away from it?
You know what? None of these shows sounded particularly interesting to me. And I think one of the things that we see is that eventually they want to take our franchises, these big franchises that work on the big screen or they've worked on TV before, and then they become shadows of their former selves, and they use other television tropes. Like, for instance, we're finally going to get a Starfleet Academy show.
Right.
So let's take let's put this thing in school. You know, like the Strange Academy. Is that what they're going to do? The new thing of sorcerers coming to... Is that what that... It's like, do we need that? Like, it's just another show in school. And that's a trope. I understand that that's what they want to do. But the problem is, I think it dilutes the original. It dilutes the idea of the Sorcerer Supreme. And it brings it, because everyone's like, it'll be like the Harry Potter TV series set in the MCU. And it's something else. So I'm like, get rid of all this stuff. Focus on your core brand and give me a great show. You know, and that's what I want. And I don't think that doing spin-offs of all this stuff, unless you have a really solid vision. If you have a showrunner that comes in and says, I have an idea, and they've developed this idea and made it great, but they don't do that. You can't reverse. They're like, we're going to make this and we're going to do it. Corporates decided we're going to do these things because analytics say we have to have this. You're never going to get a good show out of that.
But Strange Academy was in and of itself based on pre-existing property, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just something they were making up for Disney
true.
Plus.
No, it's a newer property, but it is pre-existing.
Yeah, but
and I kind of am with Rob on this, but I also love the idea of Strange Academy because you can narratively make this make sense too. Of well, all those sorcerers were murdered.
Yeah, they gotta
everyone was
rebuild this.
murdered.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
we need to build up who our next fleet of sorcerers and magic wielders are. So there was a rhyme and reason to it. And then you also could find placeholders for some of our kind of member berry characters, for lack of a better term. I would love, we talked about before, having Man-Thing as a horticulturist on the show. I would love having Madison on there doing counseling work or something like that.
School counselor
I think it's
Madison.
hilarious.
Goat tending.
I think goat tending would be incredible.
She had a goat.
Yeah, she had a
Somebody
goat.
had a goat.
I think you can do some things there, but to Rob's point, you do want them to be quality shows that
Yeah.
aren't just we're making something for the sake of making something, which was Marvel's problem in previous years, where it was just, yeah, let's do a thing. Let's put these characters in it. As long as they are moving forward with a scalpel and being very precise about what they are cutting, what they are keeping, I feel like that's the bigger thing. So if they're working these in a traditional television kind of medium of doing the let's workshop this, let's have in these writers, let's see how a pilot goes, I'm interested in that as long as it ends up with a great end product. I won't be heartbroken if I don't get these things. I just think they're cool. Strange Academy is really cool and fun. I like it.
And it doesn't look like we're going to get,
I know.
maybe we get some kind of an echo of it in a feature film at some point. Because you're right, they're going to have to address, like in terms of Strange Academy, they are going to have to address a lot of sorcerers got murdered. A lot of sorcerers got dead. They caught a bad case of the deads, as Wolverine would say.
And Multiverse of Madness made a lot of money.
It made almost $1 billion.
It made almost $1 billion,
Yeah.
and it plus what Doctor Strange did. I'm really surprised that we're not getting a Doctor Strange, a third one, before we launch into Doomsday and Secret
Yeah.
Wars.
I'm
It's-
also, this is a side quest. I'm really sick of him getting relegated to being a bad guy on What If.
Yeah,
I'm so bored by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done that before
Yeah.
right, already. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's episode, Birddogs. You know what I hate? Dress pants. They're stiff, they're uncomfortable, and they always feel like they're fighting against me. But then I found Birddogs, and let me tell you, it's been a total game changer. These pants fit like a dream, giving you all the comfort of gym wear while still looking sharp enough for work or a night out. I wear my Birddogs everywhere, lounging at home, running errands, or even a night out at the game. The fit? Spot on. You get to pick your exact waist and length, so no awkward bagginess or tight spots. And unlike other high-end brands like Lululemon or Vuori, Birddogs skip that shiny, weird-looking material, just straight up premium comfort. And let's talk for a second about their classic quarter zip, probably my favorite thing they make. I threw it on the other day for a casual dinner and it looked sharp, but I was comfortable as if I was wearing pajamas. It's that good. For a limited time, our listeners get a free hat with every order when you use the code John Campea at birddogs.com. Get their best-selling hat completely free when you use the code John Campea at birddogs.com. Support our show and let them know we sent you. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, many people kind of like the idea of Marvel kind of paring back how much the glut of content they put out, but there are also some people kind of looking forward to Strange Academy or Nova or Terry. Whatever. How do you guys feel about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down in the comments below and leave your thoughts there. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.